Well, haven't we just witnessed one of the matches of the HBL PSL 9? It came down to this, the final run. Viv Richards jumps up with glee as the Quetta Gladiators, they win over the Karachi Kings today. It came down to the final ball, plenty of contention. Just about every scenario you can imagine happened in that final over, but elation for the batters, elation for the Quetta Gladiators. They get a big win ahead of the Karachi Kings today, and oh my word, it was wonderful scenes there. 2 sixes pumped off Anwar Ali, who's thrown the ball and given the responsibility of defending 15 runs, but the guile of Shafane Rutherford with his West Indian compatriot in Akeal Hosein, they keep cool heads, they get the job done, and they manage to hand the Quetta Gladiators a 5-wicket win over arch rivals the Karachi Kings at National Bank Stadium, Karachi tonight. Oh, well, what? Hold your breath, guys. That was an absolute cracker of a match here. And as Danny Morrison joins me in the pitchside studio once again, we have the absolute pleasure of having Akeal Hosein, the man with the best experience in the house, to walk us through what was happening in that final over. You know, you were out there, you were part of that 80-run partnership between you and Shafane Rutherford. What was going through your head at that very last moment? Because it was chaos, absolute chaos.
I think it really started the last ball of the 19th over. You know, after getting struck on the helmet with a pretty quick delivery, you know, you can be shaken up a little bit. So I told him, I said, Shafane, whatever you do, you need to get a single on this end, because we already calculated at that point who were their bowling options. So I told him, you know what, take it to the last over, but you have to be the guy that's facing the last over. Well,
I know you probably just calmed down with the blood pressure, but I want to relive that last over because it was some of the best T20 cricket you'll see. Danny Morrison jumping here with me as well, but when the first 2 bombs go for massive sixes, you must have thought at this point you had it in the bag. 12 of the 15 gone in 2 balls.
Yeah, first 2 balls going for 6, you know, the bowler is pretty shattered. But with, you know, experience on the field, they have guys like Shoaib Malik, Pollard. Those guys have played a lot of T20 cricket. You know, they regroup and they, you know, had a chat with Anwar, and, you know, he actually nailed those 3rd and 4th deliveries and put us under a little more pressure to try and execute.
When I watch those situations unfold there, and you've got those experienced guys, you mean, Pollard, you know him very well.
Tried to spoil the party, didn't he?
He just slows things down. Is that part of his makeup all the time?
Yeah, it is part of his tactic, I would think. Knowing him for so long, I think it was part of his tactic. And these things actually do work, eh? You know, it gives time to the bowler to settle down and gather his thoughts and be clear about what he wants to execute. And, you know, it sort of steals the momentum from the batsman as well, he's struck the first 2 deliveries for 6. He just wants you to keep running in so he can have that momentum and finish the game.
You love it. You live for those moments, right? That's what you do as cricketers.
When they go well.
Yeah, and
thank you.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed for the Kings.
Is that your favourite team?
No.
Well, let's talk about Shafane Rutherford, because it was the partnership between you two at the end. He was absolutely explosive with the bat. Player of the match performance by him. You had the box office seat in the house to watch some of those big bombs, but the sense of mind under pressure to get the job done, you know, how well was he hitting it tonight?
He was hitting it absolutely fantastic. I know he can hit a big ball, but sometimes in these situations, it's just about reminding him that, you know, you're here, we're here, we need to take it as deep as possible. You know, let's not look at 10s and 12s, but let's play each ball on its merit and try and take it as deep as possible. Let's aim for anywhere around 6, 7, 8 runs at least. And then as it gets closer to the end, we'll try and take on those big overs.
Yeah, he's hitting some absolutely massive maximums, which, you know, he is known for. He is an aggressive player, and he is the person that you want to come in a pinch moment. He had a lot of support from you as well, but, you know, you two obviously know each other very well, West Indian compatriots. What's the relationship like between you two? And you were saying you're kind of a bit of the calm head, were you? Does he tend to get a little bit, you know, I guess it's in a pressure situation, anything can happen, but are you a cool, calm head?
Yeah, I think I played that role today. Just making sure that, you know, listen, we want to be as calm as possible, but also not to put Shafane in a frame of mind that, you know, he doesn't trust himself. At the end of the day, you want to let him express himself and play free, and you don't want to take that away from him. So sometimes it's just about adding in a little cricket smarts. You know, last ball of the over, we've gotten, just to remind him how much we've gotten in the over. You know, knock one, make sure you're there for the next over. So it's just about mixing the information, and, you know, luckily it paid off today.
Yeah, absolutely did. And Danny Morrison, when we think about the way the innings started, the heroics of Jason Roy up the top of the order, he's an aggressive batter. He went at breaking the back of the scoreboard chase in the first few overs. It was a very strong power play by what he brought to the table.
Yeah, and I just think back to recent times and recent PSLs where he got 100 here. He got off a plane and scored 100 at this venue. So he likes this part of the world, and we know what he can do. And so I like what he brings to, apart from perhaps some of the calling and running between the wickets, there was a bit going on there, which was quite crazy. So it added to the intensity of what was going on. I mean, what about you guys thinking in the dugout there with these close calls of run-outs and teammates and everything?
Yeah, it's always tricky when you have, you know, those run-out chances, but when the fielding team miss a couple like that, you know, then we sit back and we say, you know what, today's Jason's day. Yeah, so luckily, you know, he got off, you know, he got a good start, got a good score, and he really set up the game for us. You know, in these kind of chase, you really need to break the back in the power play. Although the wicket was very good, you still need to go out there and play good cricket and shots and be responsible, and I thought Jason did that excellent.
Well, we'll talk about responsibility, because you often get the responsibility of being given the new ball in the power play. Off the bat, you got Quetta off to a fantastic start with that really tight first over. You get the captain, Shah Massoud. You're making inroads once again against the best players in the world. How are you feeling about your form being back here in Pakistan again for another HPL PSL?
It's always good to be performing at your best or close to your best, but with that being said, I think in the power play, it's always a challenge, especially when you have good surfaces like this, you know, and it's the hard ball, and only two guys outside. It's always a challenge, but for me, it's just about being brave and going out there and try to execute, and I know once I do that, I can come out on the winning side.
Oh, no, look, stop it. Now, this is ridiculous, because this guy is one of the best in the business, and T20, I mean, you must crave it and want it. It has to be part of the strategy. Often, the very first over in a match.
I mean, sometimes there are times where you go like, ooh, you know, this is going to be a challenge, but I try to put those things out of my head immediately. And yeah, sometimes you look forward to the challenge. You want to be, if you're vying to be the best in the world, you have to take on these challenges head on.
What about a bit of swing? I mean, that's what it's about for you, isn't it? That's what I love about this in terms of the curve in the air, up against a right-hander and against a left-hander, very different. But talk me through a bit of that when you're up against a certain player, like say an explosive right-hander versus a left-hander that can improvise and do anything.
I think you have to pick which one you're trying to get out, and the other one, you try and bowl your best one balls, I would say. One ball, get him off strike, and try to get the other guy that you're definitely going to search for the wicket on, face most of the deliveries. And yeah, it's just about being brave, but also being smart. You know, sometimes you go out there, it might not be swinging or spinning. So you try and bowl your best deliveries. You're not going searching for wickets. But at the end of the day, they're in the power play. They're going to come hard at you anyway. So sometimes it's about mixing that, you know, looking to attack with being smart as well.
Yeah, your spin was king on this wicket today, and, you know, someone who's been fantastic for the Quetta Gladiators as a bit of a spin twin for you, Usman Tariq. I mean, what do you think about his action and how beautifully he bowled today? That little hesitation, I mean, it throws me as a viewer. Must have liked his face.
Man, he's a mystery. Even at training yesterday, I stood behind the net and I was trying to see if I can pick him, but you know, I'm very glad to see him get an opportunity to play and come in and have success straight away. And I wish him all the best and hope that success continues. But he's definitely a special bowler.
Now, how long to go? What's your age again? Because I've a bit of Alzheimer's.
He's a spring chicken.
Yeah, 30.
Ooh,
he's
the 30s now.
10 more years, he's a spinner. But I will let you go to bed and rest up. Obviously, you guys yes, he's got a travel day. He's going to Pindi. We're going to let him go. Akeal, beautifully played again today. We so appreciate you coming and joining us here at the Pitchside Studio.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, well, the fun doesn't stop there. We're about to relive the Karachi wickets now. All the ones that did fall. Danny Morrison, take it away. It was a really wonderful performance by the Quetta Gladiator bowlers, and the spinners were absolutely dominant once again.
Just great having Akeal here in studio in terms of bowling with a new ball. Spinners that can bowl with a new ball, because you have to nowadays. It's as simple as that. And there's 3 spinners for the Gladiators, and man, did they make a mark. And we just had Akeal talk about Usman Tariq. And you got the 2 for 16, I think, 14 dots. So always at you, and then a bra. Wow, I mean, that was key. Really big moment in this match 16. And then, yeah, bit of spin. As we know, you got to be in it to win it. And again, I think everyone looks for a mystery spinner. in T20 cricket, whether you're a left arm spinner like Akeal or you're more of a wrist spinner. Everyone wants that. So they're worth their weight in gold in terms of having a spinner that takes pace off and is a bit different.
They made inroads today, absolutely, for spinners. But we welcome in Aruj Mumtaz to the pitch-side studio now. Aruji, I know you're a Karachiite. It didn't go your way today. How are you feeling? What a game. I mean, if you had to pick a moment, there were a million, but which one?
What a moment, completely, and what a game. And I think for the HBL, PSL, that's what you want. You want the close encounters. Yes, Karachi would be disappointed because that's 2 losses in a row. But I think Sean touched on it. It was just that close, and that's what they want. But if I had to pick a moment, Sherfay and Rutherford, oh my God, I just said, the Caribbean flares lit up the HBL PSL, and for him to do it with the presence of mind, nerves of steel, and to make a game out of it. They were in spot of bother. 89 for 5 and 169 for 5, 80 runs at partnership, and it was brilliant. And I think that's what's important in the Quetta Gladiators. Sir Viv's emotions at the end of it really told a story.
Oh, it absolutely did, didn't it? He loved the West Indian boys getting the job done. Fantastic performance by all of the bowlers today. And we'll take a little look at the points table because we're coming into roughly around the third of the way through. So the points table is starting to take shape. And we see that win takes the Quetta Gladiators. They're still sitting pretty in second place. They've only had the 1 loss so far, but the Karachi Kings, only the 2 wins so far. They've lost 3 now, Aruj. You know, the hometown heroes, they've got a few games in lieu and they're going to want to get into the winning feeling in front of their home crowd here and make their way up into the all-important top 4 qualifying playoffs position.
Yeah, I think Karachi had their work cut out. Yes, it's a rebuilding side, but you need those 2 points. There's no sort of excuse with that. They probably can look at all of the games and they've got a lot of moments where they've lost the game as opposed to the other way around, and I think that is important. So come the next few games, if they don't get another 2 points very quickly, them and Lahore, and I think probably Lahore is probably done anyways, Karachi won't be far behind if they don't get back on track.
Yeah, thoughts, Danny? If you were in the Karachi Kings camp, what feedback are you giving to the boys after a devastating loss tonight?
Well, shortly, I'll tell you what, because this is just around the corner. You mentioned, Aaron, that there's a day off tomorrow, so you think about the double header there. Zalmi up against the Kalandars. Kalandars, they've played 6 and lost all 6. Need to give themselves an uppercut.
Oh, they absolutely do, and this is the next match as well. The Quetta Gladiators, they'll be riding high and they'll be facing Islamabad United in the second match of the doubleheader. Of course, that's coming to you on the 2nd of March from 6:30, 8 p.m. local time. Guys, we need to catch our breath. It's been an absolutely epic night. I'm exhausted. How are we?
Let's get
back
back
we're kicking on.
No, we are.
Day off tomorrow.
It is a day off, but do stick with us, of course. There's so much more HBL PSL action coming your way. 1 day off tomorrow, but then we move to Pindi and the action continues. It's been a wonderful HBL PSL so far, and we cannot wait to see what the rest of the season brings. But for now, good night.